Hey, folks, welcome to Tis the Season podcast here. We're going to be running over a few games today. Um, Cameron's with me, Colby. Both of them look like they're sporting the Tennessee gear. Colby is not actually a Tennessee Vol fan. He is a Kentucky fan, but for some reason he looks like he is right there in Neyland Stadium with Cameron. So, again, it's a Highland Steel Erector shirt. There you go. So he's not sporting the Vol look. So let's just make
No
that
way.
clear because he is a Cats fan. With that being said, there is a big game out of Atlanta between Syracuse and Tennessee this weekend, beginning at noon tomorrow, actually. And, the spread on that is Tennessee is favored by 13.5. And I like them. I'm going to go ahead and give my view on that game real quick, and then we can move on. You guys can go in the order you want there. But I like Tennessee to cover. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of question marks there with the Tennessee program, but I do believe that Josh Heupel is one of the premier coaches in the nation. I also believe what he's doing. I mean, if you all saw the news yesterday, they actually flipped the commitment from the Keys kid over from LSU to Tennessee. That's a huge get for the Vol program. I like what Josh Heupel's doing. I believe in what he's doing at Tennessee, and I like them to handle Syracuse in that game. What do you all have?
I well, I agree with you. I think Tennessee handles them. Shout out! I'm gonna give a shout out here. Shout out to Zoe. He says they have an elite defense. I don't know nothing about them besides a couple guys. He says, like I said, I took what was it, over 50 and a half? Was it 50 and a half when we took that?
50 and a half.
Um, he says that ain't hitting. Well, he says that ain't hitting, so I don't know. Apparently, they have an elite defense. I don't know what Aguilar is going to do, but I do like Tennessee big.
What do you have, Cam?
Personally, I want to stick with what I've had. I am going to stay with the over. I believe it's still 50 and a half. I do think this game is going to be closer than people think. I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I hope they come in here and handle business. I do. But like I said, the quarterback situation, I really don't know what to expect from Tennessee this year. It could be a 7-5 year, 6-6, or it could be 10-2, 11-1. I have no idea, but I do think they're going to come in and handle business. But I'm predicting them to beat Syracuse by a touchdown.
Nice. Yep. All in agreement. Tennessee wins that game. Again, I don't think. I think the consensus is that's what's going to happen. If it were in Knoxville, I'd say they'd win by way more, but I do like them to cover the 13.5 point spread. The big game of the day, of course, everybody knows is it's also a noon game. It's Texas at Ohio State. Texas is actually the underdog in that game. And of course, it's at the shoe, so we know that's why. I personally think that Ohio State has lost. I was high on them to begin with. I thought it's hard to win at the shoe. Not really sold 100%. I know he's a Manning, but I'm not sold on Arch Manning. Personally, don't know yet. I mean, I'm gonna have to see this year. I know he did some good things last year, filling in, but this is his first full season at the helm. I don't know what he'll do. So maybe I'll be a little more of a believer in Texas and Manning after this game. I do, and I am going to go with Texas to pull off the upset there at the shoe. What do y'all have for that one?
I do have.
Listen, I think this is a dog fight.
Yeah, I agree. I do have Texas winning this game. It could go either way, especially being at Ohio State. I am taking the over at 47.5. My prediction is I've got Texas winning by a touchdown, but like I said, I think it's going to be a complete dogfight, like Kobe said.
I'm an Arch Manning believer, so I think they win this game. I'm not saying Ohio State can't win this game. I mean, it's in the shoe. They got some key pieces back from championship team last year, and Smith and Downs. and I know they got more than that back. But I don't know about Julian Sayin. I don't know. We're going to see tomorrow, but I'm going to go Texas. I got them winning close.
Okay, your audio's cutting out just a tad there. I don't know. I heard that though. I did hear you say that Julian saying there. Obviously, there's a question mark there. He's debuts tomorrow. That's a tough debut.
Yep.
So that's part of my reasoning for picking Texas over Ohio State. Again, I do think this game will be very close. I don't necessarily like the over in this game per se, mainly because I believe both of these defenses are going to be prepared. So, and I just really believe that for it to go over, that these quarterbacks, mainly the quarterbacks, are going to really have to play out of their minds. And of course, we know that the Mannings are capable of that as a family, that they've proven they can play quarterback. So that's why I give the edge to Texas. I look for a score somewhere around probably 24-20, somewhere around there in favor of Texas. And so,
see, we're close in that.
What's your prediction?
28-24.
Okay. So, yeah. And Cameron likes the over. So, with that, we have the 3:30 game between Bama and Florida State. I just don't believe, after what I saw out of Florida State last year, I don't know that I have any bit of faith whatsoever in their program as a whole. And Bama is, as I always say, they're going to do Bama things. I don't, they had some down years years ago before Saban came back and took over. And I'm not, I don't know they'll ever reach the heights that they did with Saban at the helm. But I also believe that they are one of the programs that you probably won't see them really down very often. You just won't. Kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like Tennessee for me. Tennessee, it's crazy to think that they went so many years without a national championship, because I watched them in the 90s be very competitive, borderline dominant. And then now their last championship was 1998. It just seems surreal to me. I do believe that program, again, like as I said earlier, Tennessee should never be down the way that they were down at one time. Bama should never be down. I don't think you'll see that for a long time. I believe what we'll see out of them is I see an improvement from Bama this year from last year. So I believe they easily handle Florida State, and I believe the spread on that is 14, 2 touchdowns. I believe that Bama wins the game probably by 21, maybe even 28 points. What do y'all have for that one?
I don't know much about their coach, coming off Saban and everything, but I do think Bama will always be Bama. So I think Ty Simpson and Ron Williams, I think they're going to come out here. I think they're going to have big years. I do have Alabama winning by 3 or 4 touchdowns. I don't think it's going to be a matchup. Even at Florida State, I think Bama is going to handle them pretty well.
Cole, what you got?
Oh, I got the same thing. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a game. Not to mention, Florida State's new quarterback. Have you seen all the trash talk?
I have not. What's up with that?
Well, one thing off the top of my head I can think of is he said that Nick Saban is not here to save them. So that's going to have some interesting headlines going into the game tomorrow. I think it'll fire Bama up. I think first quarter, with that home field and stuff, I think you'll see Florida State maybe come out fired up and maybe surprise with a lead going into the second quarter. But I think after that, I think Alabama beats them by at least 3 touchdowns. I don't think it'll be a game after that. But yeah, their quarterback's been talking a lot of smack, and I think that'll have Alabama fired up.
Well, we're all in agreement on that game, and I think that we're all going to be accurate to when it's all said and done. That game is a 3:30 game tomorrow. We have two games to cover here. We've got the 7:30 game tomorrow night between LSU and Clemson. To be honest with you, I'm probably more excited about that game than I am the Texas Ohio State game or any other game. Even being a Kentucky fan, which I am, we won't get into that right now. Hopefully we take and handle business against Toledo tomorrow. If we don't handle business against Toledo tomorrow, I can say with definitively that Kentucky may not win a game. So we'll go there. But we'll see. We'll see what we do. And but the LSU Clemson game, for me, Clemson is going to be phenomenal. I expect them to make the playoff this year. There's no question about it. I believe that they run through the ACC. I do not personally like them against LSU. I believe in LSU. If you've watched anything that I've said thus far up to this point, I have been very high on LSU, and I'll stick with it. I said earlier, we were goofing off before we got on here, that I believe that LSU could potentially go undefeated this year. And, of course, I got a little chuckle out of Kobe and Cameron. But the truth is, that is the type of LSU team I expect to see hit the field. Again, the only question mark I've ever had has been Brian Kelly, their coach. Stats prove it. Wherever he's been in the past, Notre Dame, he could get them to the big game, but he couldn't win the big game. And he's kind of done the same thing at LSU. If you've watched, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, there's that stat floating around out there. I know, Kobe, I believe you shared that with me about his record. So that's the only question mark I have. They've got some tremendous playmakers. Of course, they've got Nussmeier at quarterback, which I believe will be a Heisman front runner. He is a Heisman front runner. I believe he wins the Heisman this year. Should they finish business and do exactly what I believe they can do? They took Barry and Brown from Kentucky. Kentucky, that's the thing about Kentucky, real quick. We watched that Nebraska game last night. Dane Key, he was a big part of that Nebraska offense last night. I don't know if y'all watched the game, but these guys that Kentucky lost, they had true value. Barry and Brown has real value, and he's going to do real well down there in LSU.
He's the best kick returner in the nation.
He is the best kick returner in the nation, and he's excellent. He's an excellent receiver. I truly believe that they utilize him. Of course, he's not the only weapon that they have, but I believe Nussmeier will utilize him to max his potential. I love LSU in this game. I believe it'll be a close game. I don't think it's going to be LSU by 14 or anything like that. I believe that LSU just wins the game. I don't know. It may be a field goal, but that's my pick on that one. What do y'all have for that?
I do think it's going to be a very close game. As you know, I've got a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I've got Clemson going undefeated and win the national championship. I think they're going to be the real deal this year. I think Klubnik, he's my Heisman pick. I think he's going to have a Heisman type year. I do think it's going to be a close game, though. I don't think that Clemson by no means is going to come out and just walk all over LSU. I think they'll beat them by a touchdown, field goal, something like that. I think it's going to be a back and forth game. I think it's going to be a very defensive game. We're thinking high-powered offenses. I think it's going to be a defensive game, and I do think it's going to go under. But I do have Clemson winning this game.
Nice. What do you have, Cope?
I've got Clemson. Sorry, I was doing a little research here. No, I got Clemson winning, and I think it'll be a really close game. I won't say there's going to be defense, but I think, I got the over. What is the over? 57.5? Let me look. Yep, 57.5. So I got 31-28, so I got the over. I just think I got Clemson. The thing is, Clemson was 0-3 against the SEC last year. But LSU is 0-5 in their last 5 season openers. Something's got to give.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that is, but I'm not a Brian Kelly believer, and I'm going to take the home field. So Clemson.
Tough to believe in Brian Kelly. I get it, and hopefully he proves us all wrong this year. He could take a big monkey off his back if he could actually get in there and coach this team. Like I said, LSU, they have all the talent in the world. The only question mark is the coaching, and that is the truth, and we all know that matters. Obviously, if you don't have a good coach at the helm, it's just not gonna usually pan out. But with that, we have the final game of the day. We have Notre Dame at Miami. Of course, I'm a Fighting Irish fan. If I were not the Wildcat fan that I am, I still rave about them, but I love the Fighting Irish. I have since honestly, since Rudy. Everybody knows the movie. I fell in love with the program because literally I love Rudy Rudiger. I love the story there. And, I was back in the 90s, the Ron Palace days at quarterback. And, I was young, didn't know a lot about football, but I saw passion. I still see passion in that program. I believe it's one of the best programs that's ever been. Without question, it's one of the most historic programs. They need a championship. They haven't had one for years as well. It's been too long. They've been right there, like we said, but of course, Brian Kelly at the helm just did not get them over the hump. So Notre Dame is at Miami, and that is a 7:30 game Sunday. I like the Irish in that game. Easy. I don't think it's going to be a tough one. I don't know the overs, the unders, or the lines or any of that on this game. I believe it was 2.5 Notre Dame favorite. Is that right? Does anybody have that?
It is.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. I thought that's what we said the other day. 2.5 favored for Notre Dame. I think that's easy for them. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I like the Irish on both sides of the ball. They've got Leonard Moore at cornerback. I believe he's going to make some noise this year. They've got, of course, Jeremiah Love, one of the premier running backs in the nation. They've got strength on both sides of the ball, and I'm not a believer whatsoever much in Carson Beck at quarterback for Miami. I'm not. I know the Georgia product. He's a Georgia product, but we had a Georgia product last year in Brock Vandagriff, and truthfully, I was so excited about Brock, and poor Brock just didn't pan out for us in Lexington. So with that, I like the Irish to. I like the Irish to win by at least 10 at Miami. What do y'all think on that one?
I do have Notre Dame winning this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything like that, but as you said, I'm not a Carson Beck believer either. I just don't, believe in him. But I do have Notre Dame winning by 9. But I think, it could go back and forth, but I do have Notre Dame win this game.
We got Cope.
I got Notre Dame as well. I think I think Notre Dame will run clock. I really do. They run the ball. That's just their identity. So I think 24-17 Notre Dame is my prediction. I know Miami seems to have that high-flying offense. I just think Notre Dame will control the game with the run.
What is the over-under in that game? Do you know?
49.5.
So you got the under on it? Yeah. Yep.
I'm not much of a under better, but if I did bet the over-under, I'd take the under for that game.
Yeah, I think it's a little high, the total there. I don't know. You've got, like I said, Notre Dame, I know for sure has a lot of offensive weapons. They've got, of course, Jeremiah Love. They got Jaden Greathouse. They've got the Malachi Fields kid, the wide receiver. I mean, they've got some real talent. It's just a matter of, I don't know what Miami's going to do. I don't really, like I said, I don't trust Carson Beck whatsoever. So I believe the under probably is a safe bet on that one. But I do love Notre Dame. I think we all like the Irish to go ahead and win by at least 3. So, but those are the games that I have down. Do you all have anything else you want to add to this real quick?
We can talk about Bill Belichick Monday night. I mean, he's never coached college. He's making his debut.
Well, I'm not a Belichick fan.
I'm not saying it will happen this year, but he will have the North Carolina program as contenders in the future.
Well, he might, and again, I mean,
I believe so too.
He's proven he's a heck of a coach. Of course, you got to consider he had Tom Brady, and I know one person doesn't make a team, but the reality is Brady left, and Belichick was never the same. So unless he gets a once in a generation type talent like that again, one can't say that he's going to take. I mean, he'll probably take North Carolina to heights they've rarely seen.
Well, I mean, the ACC is so weak outside of Clemson and I guess Miami that he could take them to heights we've never seen North Carolina go to. So that's why I think so. That's my thing with him.
So you're a believer in Belichick?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they were in the SEC, I wouldn't be a believer probably. But it's just the ACC, man.
The ACC is Clemson, and that's it. I mean, that's really the way I see it. So They need somebody to step up and really be a contender there in that conference. Hey, before we go and do anything else, let me give a shout out here to the Super Coffee brand here that my wife found these, and these are absolutely amazing. So if you were wondering what I'm sipping on, it's Super Coffee. It's loaded with all kinds of good stuff, man. It's really, honestly, I would like to say it's healthy for you. It's probably not, but I'd like to think that it is. It's got like ginseng and all kinds of stuff in it. And of course, Cameron over there, he is the NOS drinker. I don't know if he has his NOS on.
I've already drunk it, but I am a NOSaholic. So
he is a NOSaholic. And there's another NOS one. He needs NOS. Shout out to NOS because they love NOS. Trust me.
I wouldn't say I'm a NOSaholic, but Cam's got me on the kick right now.
I don't even care to admit it. I'm a NOSaholic, so sponsor me.
I'd rather you be a NOSaholic than an Alaniaholic. Are you an Alaniaholic, Kobe?
I wouldn't say I'm an Alaniaholic, but I like them. If anything, I'm a Red Bullaholic,
Well, maybe you can get you some of that Witch's Brew Alani. Shout out to them too, I guess, while we're on here, because that Witch's Brew took over the entire world. Did y'all see that it swept through the entire nation here? Of course, we're getting into sweater weather and Halloween's right up on us. So that Witch's Brew Alani, I did try it, and I do believe that it was pretty good. You have to add a little caramel to it because the apple's so tart, but it's all right. But it's not my thing. Again, these normally aren't my thing, but my wife introduced them to me, and I've absolutely fallen in love with the Super Coffee. And Cameron, I've never seen Cameron without a NOS, so I know that he absolutely is the face of NOS, if you will. But with that, I do believe we've covered everything that we're going to cover on this episode of 'Tis the Season, and we will get back to it this week. I'm taking the weekend off. I'm heading out of town, and
we got NFL coming up.
We do have NFL coming up. I cannot wait. We'll cover all that we can on the NFL slate. Go Raiders. That's my team. Kobe says go Bengals, and Cameron says go Pittsburgh. Right? Is that right?
Blitzburg.
The Blitzburg Steelers. Bless. I think that Raiders have the best season of all three of those teams this year. Y'all can laugh at that. We'll get into that next podcast. Give us something to think about. I will tell you this right now. The Raiders will be the surprise of the NFL season, and I'll go ahead and throw that out there before we do our next podcast. That way you all can sit and think of ways to hammer me and remind me that we haven't made we made the playoffs, but the Bengals cheated us. And I'll get into that too on the next podcast. We got cheated out of our last playoff appearance. Bengals are cheaters, and that's true. They are. And Raiders haven't made it anywhere since the early 2000s. So we're due, and it's time for Kansas City to take a back seat. It's time for Denver and all those in the AFC.
Listen, hold on, time out. I'm gonna stop you there. As long as Mahomes is breathing, there ain't no back seat for Kansas City. I'll just tell you.
My homie is about to start going downhill. Okay, I'm just telling you, he is. He's done.
Oh, come on, Chris. Come on, Chris.
Listen, we've got Pete
You know
Carroll.
what? We're gonna get into this.
We
next
got to be
episode.
realistic here.
Okay, well, you know what? That gives us something because we're going to have some back and forth banter for sure.
Oh, we're gonna have some debates on the next episode.
Okay, well, again, I'll be gone this weekend. NFL starts next Sunday, the 7th. Is that right?
Thursday night.
Oh, Thursday night. Yeah, that's right. Thursday night game. So we'll get into this.
And then there's a Brazil game Friday.
I'll be back Monday from our trip for celebrate my wife's birthday. Happy birthday to my wife Jennifer on the 1st of September. We're going to be celebrating that. So when we get back Monday, we'll put something out. We'll get together, and before Thursday, either Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll put an episode out about the NFL. We'll go over our picks for that, and looking forward to that. And if anybody did not see, I don't know if you knew, it's on our TikTok. Kobe's very first wager of the season. We were so thankful to get past baseball. Not that we don't love the sport, but we were looking forward to the football. And Kobe's very first wager.
Listen, betting's rough on baseball.
It is. It's not the easiest sport to bet on. That being said, we had some winnings, but I mean, at the end of the day, football is really more so our thing. I think we all are a lot more seasoned with it for whatever reason. It's what I began with when I started placing wagers. And again, guys, we do the wagering and all that. We do it for fun. If you guys are someone who gets into that, you can follow our on our TikTok and our YouTube. There's a link tree. On TikTok, you have to copy and paste it because we're not to where we have 1,000 subscribers yet or followers. So it's not a clickable link yet. So you have to copy that, paste it, and it's got all 3 of our betting links on there. Pick whichever one you want. Go with it. There's 3 of them. I think I've got BetGM, whatever it's called. That's mine. And it's on there. It just says it. And then you've got Fanatics.
BetMGM.
MGM. That's it. You got Fanatics for I had to place the way I had to do it. I could only do 3. So we each have our own individual links. Whatever platform you want to go with, go on there. I believe there's a bonus attached to it both ways. So you get something, we get something. But bet responsibly. Again, we're not responsible. If you follow our bets, we're not responsible for anything that you were to put out there. Obviously, we do this for fun. Sometimes we hit, sometimes we don't. We just enjoy it. So wouldn't you all say that's how it is?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen, again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of 'Tis the Season. We're going to cut this thing short. Cope's got some things he's got to go do. He's looking forward to the launching of, what is it? 2K. So Cope's going to go do that, and it launches in 17 minutes. So we're going to let that guy get off here. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode of 'Tis the Season. Have a great day, guys.
Peace out.
Peace.